Thanks, Skylar. Hello, everybody. I want to say thank you for that incredible opening. Both the dances, the opening video, nobody does it like Devcon. Thank you to everyone that put that together. Hi, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'm so thrilled to be in Bangkok in Southeast Asia for Devcon 7, the biggest Devcon in Ethereum's history. I'm Josh Stark, and I work for Ethereum at the Ethereum Foundation, where I'm honored to serve as part of the leadership team. In the next hour and a bit more, you're going to hear 3 talks from me, from Aya, from Vitalik, and we think they form a complementary whole. I'm going to talk about Ethereum as it is today, in simple terms that I hope anyone can understand, the present. Vitalik will go deeper into the technology and also talk about Ethereum's roadmap, the future. And Aya will talk about the philosophy, the ideas that unite the Ethereum ecosystem across time and space, and the ideas that the EF works to nurture around the world. In the 9 years since Ethereum first launched, our ecosystem has been through a lot. It hasn't always felt like a straight line, because it hasn't been one. There have been some ups and downs, some hard struggles, and some challenges we've overcome. This talk is about this moment in time. In 2024, what is the story of Ethereum? Where are we? And to tell that story, I want to break this down into 3 big themes. First, applications, the ecosystem of products and companies and decentralized protocols that millions of people around the world use today. Secondly, I want to talk about infrastructure, the technology under the hood that makes it all possible. And thirdly, the community, the human side of Ethereum, our social layer. So first, applications. Ethereum is changing the world because it solves problems for people. Because applications built on Ethereum offer something that users want, whether that user is a small business, an internet community, or an ordinary person. Ethereum is for users, and in 2024, that application ecosystem has never been stronger. But Ethereum doesn't do just one thing. Ethereum is a platform, a credibly neutral platform, a canvas for exploration where developers can build things that are often unexpected. And one of those things is stablecoins. Stablecoins are tokens that are designed to hold a stable value, for instance, by keeping close in value to a fiat currency like USD or euros. Stablecoins on Ethereum give every human being the freedom to transact, to send money home to their families, to preserve their savings, to access the financial stability that, until Ethereum came along, was not accessible to billions. Stablecoins are a fundamental increase in global human freedom. It's no wonder, then, that stablecoins have become such a huge success. Since first emerging in the early 2010s, stablecoins have gained wide adoption across the ecosystem, not just on Ethereum. But behind these big statistics are individual stories, use cases, applications. Like in Latin America, where Bitso uses stablecoins on Ethereum to offer people low-fee remittances across borders. Or in Indonesia, where Pintu uses stablecoins to offer their users financial tools to manage their savings. Stablecoins are available on many blockchains, but the Ethereum ecosystem has a unique role as the home to the majority of all stablecoins that exist. The Ethereum ecosystem, meaning Ethereum L1 and Ethereum L2s, is home to 55% of all stablecoins. And stablecoins in the Ethereum ecosystem are now comparable to traditional global payment systems like Visa and MasterCard. So far in this year, 2024, stablecoin volume is 86% of MasterCard total volume and 53% of Visa. That is incredible when you think about where this all started. So what else have you built on Ethereum? Ethereum is DeFi. DeFi is financial services and tools built on Ethereum, applications that use Ethereum's unique properties to build financial products that can't discriminate or be turned off, and which give people greater control over their money. It includes lending and borrowing, insurance, payments, trading, and complex things like derivatives, the beginnings of the internet's global financial system. And DeFi matters because it gives everyone on Earth access to the same financial tools. DeFi levels the playing field. And in 2024, Ethereum is the home of DeFi. The majority of all value locked in DeFi protocols across the entire crypto ecosystem is in the Ethereum ecosystem. But behind these charts, again, are small use cases and specific use cases, like EthicHub, that uses DeFi on Ethereum to connect small business owners, like coffee producers in Mexico, with the lenders who can give them the capital that they need to grow their business. There's so much more to the DeFi ecosystem, which I couldn't hope to cover today. Thank you to the hundreds of DeFi teams, companies, organizations, DAOs, and individual developers who have innovated and expanded Ethereum's user base. DeFi began on Ethereum, and you are the reason that it is still its home. DeFi and stablecoins were some of the earliest use cases on Ethereum, and they continue to mature and grow and expand. But Ethereum is also used for so much more. Many new things that are being built, new categories of application, some of which we didn't even expect when Ethereum was first invented. Ethereum is still the blockchain where new things are invented and deployed and scaled. Like the emerging sector of decentralized social networks, like Farcaster, Lens, or Zora. Social networks where users can own their identities and share in the growth of the platform, and which are interoperable with all the other applications in the Ethereum ecosystem. Or games that use Ethereum to offer players new experiences, like Eve Frontier, a new MMO where the physics of the game are expressed as smart contracts, and players can write code to build autonomous worlds without constraints in that game world. Ethereum is also emerging as the default foundation for digital cryptographic identities. The Ethereum name service has served the ecosystem for years with human-readable names that let users sign in with Ethereum. Or new projects like Anon Adar, which gives developers the tools to build privacy-preserving applications on top of the existing Indian ID system. Ethereum is also being used to support real-world physical infrastructure by offering a trustworthy digital platform. Glow Solar powers hundreds of active solar farms around the world, incentivized through Ethereum-based rewards. And the Ethereum ecosystem is home to incredible breakout applications like Polymarket. Polymarket is a prediction market where you can wager on the outcome of future events. And by viewing the markets for those wagers, anyone can gain a better insight into the future. Huge kudos to the Polymarket team for showing so many people around the world the power of open systems built on blockchains, and to the Polygon team for building the infrastructure that made it possible. Yeah, round of applause. They deserve it. And I know I speak for so many in the Ethereum ecosystem when I say that we're so excited for Polygon Proof of Stake to complete its transition to becoming an Ethereum Validium. We're really looking forward to it. So what I see when I look at this is that Ethereum is where ideas enter production. Prediction markets began as an idea, debated and discussed and formalized in academic over 30, 20 years, largely by Robin Hanson, who might be in the room somewhere right now because I know he's speaking this week. And it was on Ethereum where a series of experiments led to this breakout moment for Polymarket. Or quadratic funding, which also began as an idea, discussed and formalized by people like Glenn Weil, Vitalik, and many others. And it was on Ethereum where multiple teams have turned those ideas into products that serve users around the world. But there's one group of users that we haven't talked about yet. And of course, that is developers, developers, developers. Ethereum is for developers. Ethereum is a platform where your code has superpowers, where your software gains this durable performance, this hardness that lets you build things that last, things that millions of people can depend on. And in 2024, the Ethereum ecosystem remains the developer platform of choice for the entire crypto industry. When we look at the total open source developers working in crypto, nearly half are working in the Ethereum ecosystem. And when we look at data about what blockchains founders are or want to build in, the Ethereum ecosystem's lead becomes even more apparent. And one huge reason for this is the deep developer ecosystem, developer tooling ecosystem rather, people and companies and projects who have worked heads down for years to build the compilers, the tools, the developer environments, and much more that lets developers build safely on Ethereum. Thank you. So when we zoom out on applications, what do we see? Ethereum is home to the most mature use cases, like DeFi and stablecoins, which continue to scale. Ethereum is the place where new things happen: social, prediction markets, programmable crypto, identity, gaming, and so much more. And Ethereum is home to the best developer ecosystem, with the most Web3 devs and the best-in-class platform. This is Ethereum's application ecosystem this year, and it is, I think, our ecosystem's goal to continue growth in every one of these dimensions into the future. OK, that's applications. But in order to understand where we are today, the second big theme we have to talk about is infrastructure. And what I mean by that is that underneath all these applications that we just talked about are layers and layers of technology. Over the last few years, the Ethereum ecosystem has made huge investments in improving the infrastructure of Ethereum. Ethereum is the only blockchain, really, that's had enough demand and use to test the limits of what we have today and force us to improve the infrastructure in response. We've taken the hard but necessary step of actually scaling Ethereum. And the growth we're seeing now is enabled by that investment. These updates include updates to the L1, but also the launch and development of Ethereum's network of L2s. Now, there's a lot to know about L2s, and this week is a great chance to go deep on them. But I'm going to keep it simple for this talk, because the big idea behind L2 is relatively simple. Here's Ethereum L1, Layer 1, aka mainnet, the original smart contract platform and the most secure blockchain in the world. But L1 only has so much space, so much surface area that can be used. And it can be relatively expensive because of that. You're paying for these very high security and decentralization properties. Here are Ethereum's L2s. They are networks built on top of Ethereum L1. They expand its surface area outwards. They make more space available for developers and users, which means that costs can come down. But because they can be attached to L1 in a specific way, they can also be extremely secure and interoperable. Now, we shouldn't be complacent. I think many of us know there's a lot of work to be done here. But there's some evidence today, in 2024, that this scaling strategy that the Ethereum ecosystem has invested in is working. For one, people are using them. The adoption of L2 is happening. When we look at daily average transactions per second, this year, that metric has exploded as more L2s have launched and as more use is migrating onto them. When we look at total value locked inside Ethereum's L2s, it also exploded earlier this year and has been growing steadily since. And at the same time, we have low fees unlocked by upgrades shipped earlier this year. Right now, on Ethereum L2, you can send $1, $100, $1 million to anyone on Earth for less than a cent. Again, that's incredible. And low fees are important not just for the obvious reason, but also because they enable a wider diversity of use cases. They make it possible for the average person to use Ethereum, and they make it easier for developers to experiment with new things. The second piece of evidence is that developers are starting to build customized L2s that take advantage of the flexibility they can offer. Each L2 in this ring around Ethereum expands its surface area, but each of them can be designed a little bit differently. It is its own blockchain that can have its own rules conforming to certain standards. But there can be a lot of customization and deviation. And this matters because it lets Ethereum offer a wider variety of features to developers and users, and also incorporate the best new ideas from any ecosystem. For example, MegaETH is pushing the limits of EVM performance. WorldChain is designing their chain to prioritize block space and offer a subsidy to users it can verify as human. Unichain will try to mitigate and address MEV using a technology called trusted execution environments. And Eclipse is bringing alternate virtual machines into the Ethereum ecosystem. The third piece of evidence is that we're seeing institutions and businesses launching their own L2s to bring their communities into Ethereum. This includes centralized exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, and OKX, and also organizations from outside crypto, like Sony and their Sonium project. And it's easy to understate how incredible that is. Like with Ethereum, we're not only building a new decentralized on-chain world, but we are converting centralized traditional institutions to become more decentralized themselves, to offer their users something new, something that wasn't possible before. And over the last few years, we've also seen projects that were L1s choose to migrate into the Ethereum ecosystem by becoming L2s. Welcome to the Infinite Garden. We're very proud to call you part of our ecosystem. All of this, it's positive. It's worth applauding. But it's not done. And we can't lose sight of the fact that there's so much more work to do. Right now, I think there's two big quests, at least two big quests, for the ecosystem when it comes to the roll-up-centric roadmap and L2s on Ethereum. The first quest is just to remove the training wheels. The majority of L2s in the Ethereum ecosystem have not yet reached their final form, where they get as much security and decentralization as possible from L1. The picture I showed earlier is really more like this right now. Many of these L2s are not yet firmly attached to Ethereum L1. They're in the process of testing, designing, and securing and finalizing their designs and preparing to make that step. Each week, L2s around the ecosystem get closer to that goal. We usually talk about this in terms of stages. Stage 0 is the starting point, where there are still many training wheels set. At stage 1, we remove some of those protections. And on stage 2, that's the end goal, where the rollup becomes firmly attached to Ethereum and secured by it as much as possible. You can learn a lot more about the details of that on l2beat.com. But we're making progress, and we have lots to be proud of here. So far, 2 full EVM L2s, Optimism and Arbitrum, have made it to stage 1, and they're sure to be followed by many more in the near future, maybe even in the very near future. And also, a huge kudos to L2Beat. You've seen me put their graphs up on here already a couple times. They do a lot of work to understand and evaluate and educate our ecosystem about the status of the L2 networks. Yeah. You help the Ethereum ecosystem understand itself better, and you hold us accountable to our ambitious goals. It's an essential function. Thank you. The second big quest is interoperability. And what I mean by that is that today, using all of these L2 networks on Ethereum, it's not as good as it could be. It can be kind of frustrating and confusing sometimes to move from one L2 onto mainnet, onto another L2, to interact with someone who's across the ecosystem from you. And using the Ethereum ecosystem should just feel like you're using Ethereum. It needs to look more like this: an easy, interoperable network that feels like one ecosystem because it is one ecosystem. And we'll get there. There's a ton of work being done in the past year to last week, this week, on all these problems. Soon we will have addresses that just work everywhere. You'll be able to send from one L2 to another very easily, and we'll be able to verify L2s using light clients. There's so much to learn here. If you want to learn more about these challenges and if you want to help solve them, there's several talks and workshops going on this week, as well as a forum later as well. Now, all of these L2s are or will be secured by Ethereum L1, the heart of the world computer. There's a lot to be said about L1, how far it has come and where it's going. Too much to say in this talk. But I do just want to say that in 2024, I think part of our story is that we can kind of take L1 for granted because it's so reliable. We've become accustomed to it being boring in a good way, durable, hardened, secure. Thousands of validators around the world reliably coming to consensus. Every 12 seconds, a new block for us to write the future on, the heartbeat of the on-chain world. It's an incredible accomplishment. Ethereum doesn't go down. It has been challenged and tested. Sometimes we go through stormy weather and strong winds, but Ethereum has never broken. The third big theme to understand where we are today in 2024 is community. We've got to talk about us. Everyone in this room, everyone elsewhere in the venue, everyone streaming from home, and all the many thousands of others who are heads down building on Ethereum right now. The Ethereum community has gotten so big that it's hard to wrap our head around it. We definitely can't all fit in the same room. And even it's hard to have visibility into other parts of it when you're in your own niche. The Ethereum community is users of Ethereum applications, holders of ETH, app developers, protocol researchers, client developers, L2 developers and debaters, stakers and restakers, degens and regens, activists, radicals, artists, musicians and authors, educators, translators, students, complete noobs, and relatively ancient graybeards. There are so many different ways of being part of the Ethereum ecosystem today. The other truly striking thing about the Ethereum community is how global it is. Skylar already talked about this, but this year alone, at least 73 big events around the world in over 44 countries. Every one of those events represents a local community, often who have worked for years to bring and welcome the Ethereum ecosystem into their home. We're not just a little bit international, we are truly international. And every region, like Southeast Asia, has a claim to being the home of Ethereum. I want to talk about one other thing, a change that I've observed. I don't have a metric or a fancy graph to show it to you, but maybe you've noticed it too. In the last few years, the Ethereum ecosystem has not just grown bigger, it has deepened. It has matured. In 2024, many of us understand this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. We are putting down roots. We are in this for the long haul. We are building the teams and organizations and companies and working to make them last. And we are making sure there will be people to continue the work that needs to be done. We are training the next generation. Our ecosystem has gained the confidence to plan for success. That is a very significant milestone. So, at the beginning we asked a question, what is the story of Ethereum in 2024? I see the early stages of a virtuous cycle. We are growing in applications, in use cases, in users, and that early growth is testing and pushing it, forcing us to expand and forcing us to improve. And so we build bigger and better infrastructure, and by doing so, we unlock a new phase of growth. And this interplay between adoption and growth and infrastructure, it attracts a community, people who are drawn to its opportunities, people who want to plant their own seeds, people who want to steward the whole into the next generation. We can't get complacent. The challenges are real. There are many hard problems to solve, and they won't stop coming. But remember, Ethereum hits hard problems first because we have gone the furthest. That is a strength and not a weakness. Thank you. Have a great Devcon.